WCT Holdings Berhad is an investment holding company. The company's segment include engineering and construction, property development, and property investment. The engineering and construction segment includes engineering works, specializing in earthworks, highway construction, and related infrastructure works. The property development segment is involved in the development of residential and commercial properties, while the property investment segment includes holding assets for capital appreciation as well as rental income. The company has operations in various countries including Malaysia, the Middle East, India, Mauritius, and Vietnam. The company's operations in the Middle East include construction of a government administration building in Doha, construction and design of highway and airport in Doha, Dubai, and Oman, and construction of road utilities, underground car parks, and light rail transit stations in township in Qatar. The company's operations in India include the construction of highway and concessionaires. Founded in 1981, incorporated in 2011, its revenue in 2015 was 2 billion ringgit, with profit before tax at 261.8 ringgit.
Hi, I'm Zabri, and I'm going to talk about Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad. Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad operates as an investment holding company with interest in providing integrated water, wastewater, and environmental solutions. The company operates through three main divisions, which are water treatment, oil and gas, and construction division. The water treatment division includes operation, maintenance, management, construction, rehabilitation, and refurbishment of water treatment facilities. The oil and gas division offers offshore logistic and marine management services. And the last one, the construction division, focuses on construction of water and wastewater infrastructure related projects. 2015 was an eventful year for Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad as they successfully disposed their water treatment assets to Pengurusan Air Selangor Sdn Berhad on October 2015 for a cash consideration of 1.5 billion ringgit Malaysia. The oil and gas division recorded losses due to drop in crude oil price of multi-year lows of below $40 per barrel. The group conducted right-sizing exercises for oil and gas division as a result of dismal outlook for oil and gas industry. Meanwhile, construction division recorded losses before interest and tax of 8.4 million ringgit Malaysia from a profit of 8.6 million ringgit Malaysia a year ago. However, the construction division shows clear sign of growth in Sabah, Sarawak, and Peninsular Malaysia as they recently secured tender of operation and maintenance of a water treatment plant in Beaufort, Sabah for 3 years duration. The company remained positive that construction segment will be key avenue of growth for Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad despite losses incurred in the financial year under review. Financial year 2015 reflects Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad as a company undergoing of a major transition. The following table provides an overview of Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad business performance for year 2015. As we can see, Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad recorded total revenue of 663 million ringgit Malaysia for year 2015 and 63 ringgit Malaysia profit after tax for year 2015. This financial performance clearly indicates that the company remains with significant potential and committed to efficiently manage the company cash holdings and operation to ensure both costs and returns are optimized.
Hi, I'm Siva. I'm going to give some introduction about the Bina Puri Holdings Berhad. Bina Puri Holdings Berhad is a publicly listed company on the main board of Bursa Malaysia, Berhad, with 38 years work experience in civil and building construction, both locally and internationally. The group's diverse business activities include investment holdings, civil and building engineering, property development, highway concessionaire, quarry operations, manufacturing of construction materials, polyurethane system house, utilities, and hospitality management. Bina Puri has successfully completed projects such as roads and highways, bridges and interchanges, waterworks, land reclamation works, residential and commercial buildings, hotels, hospitals, airports, and government complexes. This company began to expand globally in 1995 and currently has operational offices in Brunei, Indonesia, and Thailand. Bina Puri operates in 5 segments. Construction, involved in construction of earthworks, building and road, property development, quarry and ready-mix concrete. Particularly, they involved in quarry operation and production of ready-mix concrete, polyol manufacturing, and finally in power supply, the generation and supply of electricity. Now, in terms of financial performance for Bina Puri, let's look for the past 5 years, from 2011 to 2015. Now, in 2015, Bina Puri recorded revenue of 1.2 billion ringgit. Compared to 2013 and 2014, Bina Puri posted 1 billion ringgit in revenue. Now, in 2012, revenue of Bina Puri was 1.2 billion. Now, let's look at profit before taxation. In 2015, Bina Puri recorded 35 million ringgit profit before tax. Compared to 2014, in fact, they did very much better, where the PBT for 2014 was 58 million ringgit. Now, compare this 2014 to the prior 3 years, 2013, 2012, and 2011. The PBT was around 13 to 25 million ringgit.
Hi, I'm Marzwan Rashidi bin Marzuki. Our group chose the type of industry in construction, and I decided to analyze prospect of Muhibbah Engineering Berhad. Muhibbah Engineering Berhad is a public listed company on the main board of the Kuala Lumpur Stock Exchange. Muhibbah was the first company in Malaysia to achieve ISO 9002 certification in 1995 in the construction sector, placing strong emphasis on quality and safety in every aspect of operation, and also the first construction company in Malaysia to have accomplished this. Muhibbah is renowned for being a leader in marine construction, signed in incorporation in 1972. Today, Muhibbah also stands firm in the various disciplines of engineering construction, both locally and internationally. Muhibbah Engineering Berhad business scope in marine and port construction, airport and airline facilities, dam construction, infrastructure works bridge, infrastructure work, roadworks and railway, oil and gas, building construction and concession. In year 2050, revenue is 1599045 million. The group before tax profit rose to 165.06 million in 2050, which is 40.9 higher than the 143.69 million reported in 2040. In year 2050, revenue is 1599.045 million. The group before tax profit rose to 165.06 million in 2050, which is 40.9 higher than the 143.69 million reported in 2040.
Hi, I'm Zabri, and I'm going to talk about stockholder analysis. From the stockholder analysis conducted, we can obviously see that Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad have significant cash holdings compared to other companies. With authorized capital of 1.3 billion ringgit Malaysia, the company have better prospect to generate immediate impact in the company's revenue stream compared to other companies. Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad class of share is 1 ringgit Malaysia each for ordinary share, which is twice higher than its market peers' share price, but it is still considered undervalued. Because if we compare with other companies such as Bina Puri Holdings Berhad and Muhibbah Engineering Berhad, both companies have authorized capital of 500 million ringgit Malaysia at ordinary share of 0.5 ringgit Malaysia, which is 50 cents each. If we compare this, Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad ordinary share should be at 1.3 ringgit Malaysia each, not 1 ringgit Malaysia. But as we can see in the comparison, Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad share price is 1 ringgit Malaysia, even though its authorized capital is 1.3 billion ringgit Malaysia. Even though there are a lot of other factors that need to be considered, but based on the stock order analysis, we can conclude that Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad have better growth prospects and significantly cheaper valuations in its share price compared to its market peers. Thank you.
If the firm has a risk that is beta of more than 1.0, this means the firm's stock is riskier than average stock in the market. Meanwhile, if the beta value is lower than 1.0, it means that the firm's stock is less riskier than average stock in the market. From the table, we can see that WCT Holding Berhad stock is least riskier among the 4 companies. In our study of the 4 companies, Bina Puri has the highest dividend payout ratio at 73.8%, which means the firm pay out higher dividend as they pose greater risk compared to other companies. In discussing a firm's risk profile, we usually refer to its value of standard deviation. The standard deviation is a measure of how spread out the prices or returns of assets are on average. It is the most widely used risk indicator in the field of investing and finance. Standard deviation is commonly used to measure confidence in statistical conclusions regarding equity instrument or portfolio of equities. Again, from the table we can see that Muhibbah Engineering Malaysia Berhad has the lowest standard deviation, that is at 0.99, or standard deviation that is closest to 1. In finance, the cost of equity is the return that a firm theoretically has to pay to its equity investors, that is, the shareholders, to compensate for the risk they undertake by investing their capital. In our case, each firm's cost of equity is measured by the dividend payout ratio. The firm's cost of debt is translated in the form of debt gearing ratio, which is the fundamental analysis of the firm's level of long-term debt compared to its equity capital. A low-geared company with a ratio of 10%, for example, would be able to pay off debt several times over and would be considered low-risky by both investors and lenders. In the meantime, companies with higher ratios, upwards of up to 50 or even percent, for example, represent a greater risk, because even a brief period of reduced profits or a sudden increase in interest rates could cause bankruptcy and loan default. We were unable to get the WACC value for each individual company. However, the average WACC for construction industry in Malaysia is 11.96%.
Comparison in investment return between 4 companies. Bina Puri Holding new major project secure building work for Mohd Big Spa Resort cenderung daerah Kuala Terengganu Darul Iman. WCT Holding Berhad focus secure a contract from Lusai Real Estate Development Company in Doha, Qatar. For Muhibbah Engineering Berhad, the focus federal government of Malaysia has created a extension of concession period by another 10 years to Raw Care Center Berhad, our associate concession company, to maintain 701,000 km roads in the central region of Peninsular Malaysia. Puncak Niaga Holding Berhad, they buying over the business of construction firm TRI PLC Berhad for 2010 million to enhance its construction segment revenue and long-term growth prospect. Buying over the business of construction firm TRI PLC Berhad for 210 million to enhance in construction segments revenue and long-term growth prospects. For cash flow pattern, Muhibbah Engineering and Bina Puri Holding get positive cash flow. However, Puncak Niaga Holding and WCT Holding have the negative cash flow. For cash flow pattern, Muhibbah Engineering Berhad 2011 to 2050, they are slightly increased. Puncak Niaga Holding, the cash flow pattern 2011 to 2050, they are fluctuate. For Bina Puri Holding, they are maintain the cash flow. And company WCT Holding cash flow pattern from 2011 to 2050, they maintain the pattern. However, from 2040 to 2050, the extreme deadline.
Hi, I'm going to cover question number 4 and 5, particularly in this session. Now on question 4 on capital structure, what we have done is that we have done a comparison between Bina Puri Holdings Berhad, Muhibbah Engineering Malaysia Berhad, Puncak Niaga Holdings Berhad, WCT Holdings Berhad. So by looking at this graph, we can see that Bina Puri is in terms of the capital structure, the ratio. We have done 6 different type of analysis on the capital structure, particularly total debt to total equity, total debt to total capital, total debt to total assets, long-term debt to equity, long-term debt on to total capital, and finally long-term debt to assets. Now, interestingly, we noted that for long-term debt to equity, which means that this ratio is actually is used to assess how well creditors are protected in case of a company's solvency. And interestingly, we can see here particularly Bina Puri. Bina Puri have 88.72, which is extremely high. Similarly, for long-term debt to total capital, Bina Puri have a 21.99. But here, especially on the long-term debt to total capital, we noted that for WCT they had a 39.76, which is the highest comparatively between these 4 companies. Long-term, in terms of long-term debt to assets, all these 4 companies recorded quite low, and the lowest was Muhibbah with a 0.01. Now, in conclusion, under capital structure, by comparing all these 4 companies, we are the opinion that Muhibbah Engineering seems to have the strongest position amongst the 4 construction companies. In terms of long-term debt to equity is the lowest, 5.99 times. Long-term debt to total capital is the lowest as well, 2.35 times. And long-term debt to assets is the lowest, again 0.01. Right, now let's move on to question number 5, where we have analyzed on the dividend policy, where again we have compared these 4 companies, Bina Puri, Muhibbah, Puncak Niaga, and WCT Holdings. Now, in terms of dividend, Bina Puri, final dividend, they paid a final dividend of 2% per share with a value of 4 million ringgit in 2015. Whereas in 2014, again same 2 cent at per share with a value of 2.6 million. Now, Muhibbah have paid a final dividend of 4 cents per share with a value of 18.7 million in 2015 and 19 million ringgit in 2014. Puncak Niaga, on the other side, paid a special dividend of 445 million, which is the highest comparatively. Now, when we talk about shares buyback, out of these 4 companies, only Bina Puri Holdings Berhad, as at 31st March 2016, have 116 million ringgit, comprising 233 million ordinary shares of 50 cents each, including 790,000 treasury shares, and outstanding 18 million ESOS options, a total of 25 million. Now, the other 3 companies, Muhibbah, Puncak Niaga and WCT Holdings, didn't implement any share buyback or resale or cancel treasury shares.
For valuation, 5-year revenue and profit trend, WCT 2050, that highest revenue and profit compare the others company, and the lower is the revenue and profit trend, the Puncak Niaga.